Hi guys, James here, back again from Bespoke Airsoft, and today we've got a new review, new product. It's been a while. We're looking at Secutor Ludus CO2 Hi-Capa.
Girls with their nails done.
So you'll see there from that snippet of video from Secutor, the hype around this product was really good, especially in my opinion. I saw that video and I got really excited for this release. Things are changing a little bit on the way that I normally do this show, so I usually try to stay as unbiased as possible and give you guys my honest opinion of such items that are on the show. I'm still going to do that, however, just for a bit of fun. This isn't the sort of opinion of the business and the brand of Bespoke. This is just me, myself in front of the camera, you. I've racked up a little quick scoring system that I'm going to start doing things with the products. So there's 10 points that I'm going to look at. Each one has a max score of 10, and then we just total them up to a score out of 100, and that's the way I'm going to do it going forward. Just, you know, it's just my opinion, it's what I feel, and you've got a bit more material there to sort of give you your best sort of educated guess when buying these things, if that makes any sense. I do apologise, it's late night here, it's been a very long day and I have been drinking, so this might get a little bit confusing for you. However, the new scoring system works on 10 points. I'll just go down them points quickly for you before we get into the Ludus. So the first one is first impressions, how I feel literally just taking out the box, feeling it for the first time. Number 2, we've got materials and finish and the quality. We've got 3, which is disassembly, how easy it is. 4, magazine and what it's like. 5, hop up. 6, FPS and power output. 7, accuracy, which, you know, FPS and accuracy tests, we already do it anyway. 8, feel and feedback. 9, parts and accessories availability, and 10, price. So we're going to do those eventually at the end of the show and we'll get right into it. So this is the Ludus. Now this is the first product that I have ever approached a manufacturer and said, I'm really interested in reviewing this on the show. I hadn't done a review for a while, I was really excited about it, and I was just trying to be a little bit cheeky. Not something that I've ever done before, because we'd be stocking these anyway and they'd be coming into us and I'd just grab one off the shelf and review it for you guys. I thought it'd be a bit cheeky. I got in touch with the guys at Secutor, said we've been buying their products since Bespoke opened. Really interested in this, can you send me one ahead of time so I can review it before the initial release? They got on board with that. They seem really interested in working with us. They know we've been pushing their products ever since Secutor first came about on the scene. So they agreed to send me a pistol. So this is not a paid promotion in any way. However, they have sent me this free of charge for me to keep and test and show you guys on video what this thing is. However, if it's rubbish, I'm going to tell you guys it's rubbish. So they sent this over to us. I was hoping to get it ahead of time so I could start working on the video and the review and getting it up on the YouTube channel before the products turned up, because if it was just a case of me waiting for the stock to come in, the stock would have arrived with us. I'd have gone and grabbed one off the shelf and just done it in my normal way. That wasn't the case. They did send me one, which I'm very grateful for, thank you to Secutor, but it did end up coming in on the usual delivery anyway, so not much bother there. They've sent me one. I was hoping they would send me a gold barrel one because I love black and gold, but they sent me a black one. I'm really, really appreciative of Secutor and what they've done with us. So let's get into the review and get started, because I've been babbling on for a little bit now. So normal red box with the Spartan looking guy on the front there with the sword. You got Ludus on the front of the box there as well. Now you will see a little bit of difference with how this comes in the box to how yours comes, because I have purchased, I bought them myself, the bits and pieces that go along with this pistol, which we'll get into later on in the review. So you've got your normal manual here, very nicely printed. All your bits and bobs there. They do a really good little pamphlet here with loads of information, everything you need, and it's very well written. The pistols always come covered in like a clear plastic, which is the norm nowadays. Very good, keeps the dust and the dirt away during transport. If you take out the foam piece here, obviously ignore those bits there, you have 2 Allen keys, one which does the front sight and the other one which does the CO2 capsule in the magazine. And you also get a downgrade nozzle, which they do with their other Luduses and Bellums and the Gladius. They supply different nozzles which are power down, so when it gets into the summer, especially when you're using CO2, you can put this in there and make sure you're not hot on your site that you're playing at. So let's get that set to one side. And the pistol wrapped. Now you'll notice here, Ludus has accessories available right off the bat. So they've made available compensators and they've made available RMR red dot mounts. These do not come in the box, just so we're clear. The pistol you'll get will have a normal thread protector on the barrel. It is a threaded barrel, so you can put traces on bits and pieces like that. And this will come with a normal cap, so there'll be nothing here. Also, when you buy the RMR red dot mount, you get raised iron sights which come with the red dot mount too. We'll get a little bit more into that later on in the video. So this is a CO2 pistol. It's full metal. It's OEM'd by KJ Works, I believe. It's a very similar system. I think it's the same manufacturer. They do make good CO2 pistols. They make the Ludus series. They make the Bellums. They do very, very well. This is also the same OEM manufacturer that Novritsch uses for his SSP-1, so we can imagine that great things are going to come from this. And then Secutor have put their spin on this thing and really gone to town with the aesthetics and how this thing looks and feels. So what we're going to do, I'm going to get the top-down camera set up so you can get a closer look at this thing, because it's going to be difficult on this camera, especially looking on black and stuff like that. So we'll get the top-down camera, we'll take a closer look at this thing, then we'll get to the FPS and the accuracy test, and then we'll do the roundup straight after. Hello guys, welcome back to the top-down camera, and look at this thing. It looks absolutely superb. I'm always a fan of the Secutor line with the more extravagant barrels. You know, the Ludus, the first Ludus that came out, I love the one with the gold barrel. And the Bellums and stuff with the bronze finishes, they're absolutely superb. And you'll see here, this is the new Ludus pistol from Secutor. This one based on a Hi-Capa platform instead of a 1911, an M9 or a Glock. So they're using the correct OEM for this. I think they've learned from previous eras where they used the APS for the Gladius. The Gladius was probably their weakest link in terms of products. So they've finally done a Hi-Capa. They've used the same OEM that they use for the M9s and the 1911s, which is KJ Works. Same OEM that builds the SSP-1 for Novritsch. So very much the same platform. KPO 6s, KPO 7s, KPO 8s. I think that's the normal product codes for just the standalone KJ Works Hi-Capa releases. So they'll take the same. You don't have to get the Secutor branded magazines, or even though they don't have any markings on them. You can go and pick up KJ Works Hi-Capa CO2 magazines, and they'll work in this pistol absolutely fine. So you'll see that we've got the compensator on there, and we've got the red dot mount. Usually out the box you have a thread protector on here, so it just sits on the barrel there, and you have this bracket which just sits on the top like so, and it just sort of follows the normal shape of the slide. Obviously when they sent this pistol to me, it was just bare bones out the box. I've just picked up a compensator out of the warehouse when the delivery turned up, and a red dot mount when they turned up just shortly after. But you'll see the markings on this thing. The one sort of bugbear I had with their other lines, I'm in that weird place where I can't figure out whether I've drank enough or I've drank too much. Let me know in the comments down below. But the other criticisms that I've had of the Ludus line over the years is the markings that they put on the slide. I think I made a remark in one of the videos where it would have been nice to have the slide blank so you could put your own markings on there. And for the most part, they've left this pistol mainly blank. You know, you've got the insignia at the top there. You've got nothing on the barrel, which they usually put like the sword logo on there, so it hasn't got that. Obviously on the barrel here you'll see 45 ACP, that's a nice touch. You've got a serial number, and then you've got SPQR. I think this refers to the type of grip. And when I first saw this pistol, it did look, I thought this was CNC machine because it's got very much that sort of pattern, and perhaps that's why they've done this. But the grip is polymer, which obviously saves on weight, of course, and manufacturing costs, but it does look and feel absolutely superb. So metal slide, metal main, the lower body here, polymer grip, and then all the controls are metal as well. As like I say, I was hoping to get the silver or the I was hoping to get the gold, but even the silver would have been nice because it would have shown off the finishes on the barrels even more so than black. To fit the compensator, it's really easy. All you do is you unscrew the thread protector. This compensator is actually made up of two parts. You've got a brass ring, you've got the compensator itself, and then you've got this little grub screw. So what you do is you'll thread the brass ring on so it's nice and tight, and then you can push the compensator on and just tighten this up to set it in place. And then if you find it does get loose over time, which things do, you can clock, tighten up the adapter that comes with it, and then you can undo the grub screw and clock the compensator so it's back in position. The one thing I will say about this pistol, which I wasn't too over the moon about, is obviously the barrel does have a little bit of play, which it did take me a while to get the compensator to a point where it was mostly always in line with the slide. It's my OCD kicking in there to keep it nice and flush. Obviously I've fitted this on as far as it will go. It fits just before the slide here. I think if you haven't seen Airsoft Mike's video, I think he did it and he managed to get it on all the way to the slide, but then he backed it off a little bit due to Secutor recommending just leaving a little bit of a gap there. You've got divide et impera, which I believe is divide and conquer. Very nice looking curved trigger, nice looking hammer. It's built really, really solidly. The slide is superbly smooth. You know, functions absolutely superbly. One thing I like with pistols, if you're not aware of what this term is, it's going to sound a little bit weird to you, but the term is power stroking. So what that means is, let's say this pistol's empty, I've took a magazine out, the empty magazine, I've got a nice new fresh magazine in, insert the magazine ready to go. I always like to power stroke pistols. I know how dirty that sounds, get your mind out the gutter, but what that technically means is you can pull the slide with the fresh mag, and as you pull the slide release actuates down, and you can literally just wrap the slide and the slide will push forward instead of hitting the slide release. Now the reason why I like pistols to do this is because when you're in a game or you're in a bit of CQB, it's, you know, a stressful high adrenaline environment. You know, you get, say your mag's empty, you want to get it out, you want to put it back in. I'll always put the mag in and wrap the slide, and pistols like my FNX 45 or other pistols that I've had in the past will always power stroke, so I like that. However, the Hi-Capa doesn't do this, so that's more of a personal niggle of mine compared to, there's nothing wrong with the pistol, you know, you can still hit the slide release. I prefer, especially when I've got gloves on, I'm in the heat of things, I like to power stroke the slide just because it makes it really easy. On the FNX 45 that I do have with the RMR, I use the RMR to wrap the slide, so I'll always use that to let it loose. But it's not the end of the world, so it still works absolutely fine, it's nice and smooth. For some reason, when the magazines came into us, the information from Secutor said they were a 26 round, and for some reason the distributor says it's a 26 round as well. It's not, it's a 30 round magazine, I can confirm this. You can put 30 rounds in and you can still pull the spring guide down to let that top round drop just enough to not damage the nozzle as well. Stripping this pistol apart is extremely easy. You're just going to line up the rear of the slide release to that little notch there, just like a 1911 and other Hi-Capas, and then you're going to press the pin from the other side and it will pop out just enough for you to be able to grab it. This isn't the easiest on this pistol, they're a little bit stiff. They obviously will get a lot easier the more they're used. And you can see, really nice finish. There's not tons of grease, which, you know, is very nice. You know, I've recently got another pistol in to review for the show, which is a Umarex Glock 19X, and that was covered in grease. So going further, you can take the spring guide out, and then we can pull the barrel forward. Let's just release the nozzle there, and then actually you can strip this pistol down just as easy because of the way the system works with this barrel key. So if you've got the compensator on, there's no need to worry, you can still strip it out. Very, very nice indeed, easy to do. And then that's more your sort of more commonly looking Hi-Capa sort of slide there. And then we can pull, I believe we can pull the hop unit and barrel out. There we go. Very nice finish, the usual from KJ Works there. The hop you can turn nice and easily with the system out. However, with this in the gun and the piston and the slide, it is a little bit more tricky. You can see how it's applying the hop there. So when I fired this earlier, which you'll see in a bit, I hadn't messed with any of this. It's the first time I've took it apart. So let's pop this back in here. Come on, you want to go in. There we go. So the inner barrel just fouling something inside, so I just give it a wiggle and it went back in. Reassembling it is very, very easy. You know, if you know your way around 1911 and Hi-Capas, you're going to find this extremely, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. But you're going to find it really easy. You're going to find it, I can't think of the word now, it's completely escaped me. What word am I thinking of? Never mind. We'll get there in the end, I'll think of it later. So, popping the slide back on, we'll line that back up. And pop this back in. You can see there is grease there, so it's nice and oiled, but it's not over the top where it's going to start getting stuff on the hop rubber, or sometimes you'll have guns where it's absolutely caked in oil on the outside, which is, you know, you want to protect it, but you don't want to cake it in oil, you know. And the final personal deal with this pistol is the trigger. So there's no definite wall there. It's very difficult to predict, and then all of a sudden it'll fire. It's extremely spongy. Not sure how well that comes on our camera, but still hasn't reset. There's the reset. It's very spongy indeed. We never know, we might be able to tune this. I'll have a word with one of the guys that works for our distributor, as he runs a practical pistol club and he's a Hi-Capa know-it-all, so I'll see if he can tune this and see if we can make this a little bit better. You see, so very minimalistic. If you wanted to put, you know, your own trades on there, if you've got sort of a real steel gun manufacturer that you like and you want to put those trades on, I don't know if you would, but or if you want to whack your own logos on there, you've got loads of real estate for that. And again, the plate on the back is just those two flathead screws. Take them off, that comes off. You'll have to take the rear iron sight off as well, because it's held in with another screw. And then this plate will fit on. It's very stiff to go on there, so what you have to do is just line it up and just give it a bit of a push, and it'll push it down into that with the coatings and stuff on there, and then just tighten these up. Don't over tighten these, and be careful that you don't cross thread them, because I imagine that's not going to be covered under any type of warranty. And also be careful when you take this plate off, the return spring for the nozzle is exposed, so just make sure that doesn't pop out and you lose that anywhere as well. So let's get to the part you've all been waiting for. Let's go chrono this thing, and then straight after the chrono we'll get right into the accuracy test at 10 meters, and then we'll give the thoughts and the new scoring system that I've come up with just for a bit of fun. We'll see how it does, so we'll see you in just a moment. So there you have it. We've took a close look at the Ludus. We've done the FPS readout, which was about 345 to 350. That is on a fresh CO2 bulb, 10 shots as they were. It was in a room that was fairly mild, you know, sort of 10, 12 degrees, probably a little bit higher actually. What's the thermostat saying? 15, 16 degrees, so not too cold at all. Obviously in the summer months, it's going to be a little bit warmer, so you do have the adjustability of using the power down nozzle, popping it in there, or they do have gas magazines available. All these accessories and bits and pieces you can find on the website, so if you are struggling, just get in touch with us and we can show you exactly where you need to go. In terms of the accuracy test, now with the FPS readout I use 0.2 gram BBs, fresh bulb, or if it's a gas pistol I'll freshly gas the magazine up. Now with the accuracy test, I'm not doing 0.2s and 0.3s anymore, I'm just going straight to the 0.3s, cut right to the chase. I don't mess with the hop up units, so this is literally fresh out the box as it is. We've done the accuracy test at 10 meters just because in the winter here in the UK, if you're watching abroad, at the type of time that I do get home and manage to film these videos, it's pitch black outside, so we can't use outside. So I've got a little range set up through my utility in my garage. It's 10 meters, and this was the result. So all I'm doing at 10 meters, I'm putting the iron sights bang on the little emoji that I draw on the middle of the target there, and I'm just going to keep the iron sights here the best I can to my ability. I'm not firing from a fixed position, I'm literally standing up like that, arms raised out, and I'm just trying my very best to keep those iron sights as pinpoint as possible. And you can see the pistol has not done bad whatsoever. Really tight grouping at 10 meters. Like I haven't cleaned the barrel on this from the factory, so it is as it comes from the factory. What I would do is probably do a fresh barrel clean, set the hop, and really dial this in. You can adjust the front sights as well, so you'll see this was firing a little bit to the left, so I can loosen the little grub screw on the iron sights, tap the iron sight to one side a little bit, and we can get those groupings a little bit more central. Very good results, very happy with that at 10 meters. So we're going to get into the score. This is now the scoring part that I'm going to start doing with you guys, and we're just going to go down the list and say exactly as I feel. So first impressions of this pistol, it's well packaged. All their products are well packaged. It comes in a nice plastic bag, so it's not getting damaged or anything like that. The accessories are all nicely stored, and then pulling it out, it's not covered in like loads of transport grease. So in terms of first impressions with this pistol and how it feels, and how it's transported and such, if that makes sense to you, I'm going to go ahead and give this about an 8 out of 10. The only bugbears that I do have with the first impressions of this pistol, and it's literally, it probably comes into the other points as well, just pulling it out the box, wrapping the slide and trying the trigger does feel a little bit spongy. So that was the first thing and that first point, like I'm saying, first impressions is just me picking it up, having a quick play with it and giving you the score out of 10. So I'm going to give it about an 8 out of 10 for the Ludus, which I think is very good. It does feel absolutely fantastic. Materials and finish, the materials obviously full metal, lower and slide, and then I'm not sure, I think this is polymer, the grip. Yeah, it is polymer, but it is very deceiving the way they've done it, because it almost looks like CNC cuts. It's very cool indeed. The magazine's got a good finish on it as well. Secutor always put a nice finish on their pistols. There's no rattling. There's a tiny little bit of rattle from the magazine maybe, but the finish on this thing, there's no scratches, there's no massive amounts of transport grease. Good finish, good fit, and focus on the QC with this pistol. So I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. It's very good, very impressed. Disassembly with this thing, as you'll see in the video, it's very easy. It's very much like a 1911 and other Hi-Capa pistols that are available on the market. It can be a little bit tricky sometimes, especially if you're wearing gloves, to push that slide release pin out, which I'm struggling with a little bit here, which does kind of go against it a little bit. But as soon as you've got that out, you can disassemble this thing pretty much fairly easily. The hop-ups are easy to access, and you know, even with the compensator on, you can take the spring guide system out, pull this out, turn the barrel key, and the barrel comes out, so it's very easy. Again, I'm going to give that an 8 out of 10. Magazine, very good. For some reason, everywhere says that these magazines are a 26 round magazine. They're not, they hold 30, and that's a comfortable 30 where, as it's full with 30 rounds, you can pull the spring guide down a little bit, and it just gives you that extra little bit of relief to make sure you're not smacking the magazine up into the loading arm on the nozzle and breaking it. Finish on this is very, very good. However, using it a couple of times, I've probably put about 4 or 5 magazines through this in total since having it. There is a couple of scratches on the magazine where the magazine latches onto it, but in fairness, I can't fault it whatsoever. The efficiency as well, on a CO2 magazine, I'm getting about 2 magazines worth of BBs. That's 60 rounds per CO2 capsule. That's using Crossman CO2 capsules, very, very good. I didn't get any gassing out, anything like that. It seems to be very efficient. And I can't speak for the gas magazines, it's only the CO2 magazines because it's the ones that I've got. Again, I'm going to give it an 8. It loses 2 points just because I've got that one scratch where the magazine latches onto the magazine itself. Hop up, just like a lot of their other 1911s Hi-Capa series, it is easily accessible. However, it's not the most easiest to turn. Like, I'm struggling a bit there because I can't get my nail round and onto the dial. So that does mark down points. You do get a good response to this hop up, however, so I'm going to give it a 7. FPS wise, right there, right below the limit. You know, thought 345 to 350. I think that's absolutely perfect, even in a warmish room that's indoors. You know, we're getting into the middle of winter here in the UK. You might get a bit of a fluctuation in the summer, but you have got the power down nozzle there, so they have got you covered. So FPS, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Very impressed with that. Very pleased. Accuracy, by far not the best accuracy test, but by no means the worst. Nice grouping, feels good. You know, there's nothing there. The only thing I can say is that result's going to get better the more that you mess with it. Put some rounds through it, bed it in the hop a little bit. Excuse me. Set the hop to your weight that you're using. You know, if you're using this for practical pistol, which you very much could do, or just some pistol target fun, you know, because that's getting very popular here in the UK, you could dial this in more. So accuracy out the box, I'm very much. I mean, look how small that area is. That's a headshot target that's a headshot every single time. Headshot size. I don't recommend that you go and shoot people in the head with these things. You know, always shoot for other parts of the body if they're accessible. However, every single round, which was 30 rounds I fired at that target, every single one of them would have hit inside a head size target. So I'm going to give accuracy, I'm going to give it an 8. Feel and feedback. First, I'm going to feel. This gun does feel amazing, and let's just pop this back together here. It does feel really good, but again, I've got to mark it down a little bit. I was expecting a little bit harder kick, if I'm honest, coming from the Ludus series and the Bellams using CO2 magazines. They have that really crisp punch, and I don't know if this is with every Ludus pistol that they've put out there, whether it's just this one. The blowback just seems not very minimalistic, but less compared to the Ludus series, and I don't know why, because they're using the same OEM. It's pretty much the same running gear as the 1911s, bar the magazine and such. Using the same power source. I don't know why. I think this is empty. We are clear. Obviously, I've put 2 magazines worth through this, and it's still going, so I just expected a little bit more. Again, not bad, better than most guns out there on the market. So I do have to mark it down in terms of feel for the trigger, because the trigger is a hell of a lot of sponginess. Both the reset and the brake and trying to find the wall are very spongy, so it's going to get marked down for that as well. So for that reason, I'm going to give the gun it's a fair score. I'm going to give it a 6, just because that trigger has let it down a little bit. I'm sure you could probably tune that trigger, fit an aftermarket trigger if you wanted to, get it feeling a little bit better. Of course, this is very much easy for me to do so because I'm going to send this back to them or put it back in the warehouse. So I might have this thing apart and see if I can adjust it. And I've been very spoilt with triggers because we looked at the John Wick 3 by Jag Precision. It was a very good trigger. It's probably one of the best triggers I've fired. So it gets marked down for that. Parts and accessories availability. Now what I want to say is These accessories that you see here in terms of the compensator and the RMR mount are not included. They're extra, so you've got to pay more money to get those features. I mean, they do differ in price compared to the black, silver, and the gold variants of the compensator. However, if you're buying the pistol, all the pistols are the same price, which is weird. Usually the gold ones are a little bit more expensive. So you're paying about £20 to £25 for the compensator, depending on where you get it from. I don't know what the price is on the RMR mounts just yet, because when I picked one up from the warehouse, they'd literally just come in, we hadn't sorted out the prices, so I can't comment on that. But again, it's going to probably be just as much, if not more, than the compensator. So it would be nice to have had those bits in the box. The Magna that they do, the sort of the King Daddy of the 1911 Ludus line, it's probably just a little bit more expensive, but you're getting, you're not getting a compensator as such, but you're getting the RMR cut slide, and you're getting a red dot in the box for about 189, just 190ish. So these are coming in at 183. So I think the pricing hasn't really been figured out much there in terms of the release. So parts, accessories, availability. Obviously the magazines are available straight away. RMR mounts and compensators available straight away. However, the one thing I have got to mention, guys, I am very honest with you. This RMR mount came into me, fitted it to the top of the pistol. It comes with all the fixtures you need, apart from the fixtures for fitting the red dot sight to the slide. So I was like, okay, that's not too bad. I can go grab the RMR off my FNX 45, fit it on here, and away we go. As soon as I pop the RMR on here, obviously the screws wouldn't reach. That's not a problem. I've got those machine screws, available in the garage. I could just go get some longer count suck screws, pop it in there. Didn't fit. Up until this right now, I will put in a little annotation if I get updated on this. I have relayed the feedback back to Secutor and the distributor. I cannot find a screw in my possession that fits these thread holes. The normal machine screws that you use for these type red dots, they just fall straight in. So it's a wider thread, but then the thread size up that I've tried is too big to go in there. So what thread size is this, Secutor? You've got to get marked down for that. But in terms of availability, there's a lot available there right off the get-go. I suppose that probably comes down to price, but I do have to mark it down because the RMR mount, as of now, is a little bit useless. So parts and accessory availability, I'm probably going to go with a 7 for that. Everything's available, but it would be nice that these parts maybe, like I said, that Magna's killed it because they've released that already and it comes with that red dot sight included in the box. That's going to hurt it. Which brings me on to the next part, which is price. This is the final point on the list, price-wise. So the pistols are $182.99 on the website. The compensators are about 20 to 25, so that immediately puts you over £200. Then you've got to buy the RMR mount. It's probably going to be somewhere in the region of 20 to £30 maybe. Then you've got to go buy a red dot sight because it doesn't come with one in the box like the Magna does. So I think in terms of price with this pistol, I think they've priced it just a little bit wrong. I think it perhaps should have been a little bit cheaper maybe. Perhaps the 175 mark, 170, 175, because you've got to buy the extras. You've got to buy the RMR red dot sight, which again the Magna comes with. For you're talking £190 for a 1911 with CO2 mag, RMR cut slide, and a red dot, which usually costs you what, £60 to £70 extra, depending on where you get them from. So you take that £60 off that Magna pistol, which you would be getting this without the compensator. You take that £60 off the Magna, you're paying $130 for that pistol. In a weird way of thinking about it. So price, honestly, it's not bad. The finish and the feel and the way this thing shoots are very, very good. So it's not a bad pistol whatsoever. However, I think just with the other models in their lineup, it's just a little bit confusing. It doesn't make too much sense to me. However, this is a completely different pistol, so again, manufacturer price and stuff might be completely different, so I may have misspoken, but this is a bit of fun, guys. I'm just giving you my thoughts. So price, I'm probably going to give it a 6, just for the fact that you do have to buy all those extra pieces. They don't come in the box, and there are other models in the Secutor range, like the Magna, which you get a lot more value for money out of the box. So we're going to total this up now. Let me just get my snazzy calculator on my phone, because we don't want to be all night seeing how bad I am at maths. So let's see how the pistol has done. If I can find the calculator, here we go. So we had an 8 for first impressions, very good. We had a 9 for materials and finish, very good. Disassembly, we had an 8. Magazine, we had an 8 again. Hop up, we had a 7. FPS, we had a 9, it was very well. Accuracy, we had an 8 out of 10. Feel and feedback, we had a 6. Parts and accessory availability, we had a 7. And of course price, we had a 6. So we have a grand total of 76 out of 100, which is your James personal opinion score. The James POS score, that's what we're going to call it. 76 out of 100, not a bad pistol at all. Final thoughts and conclusion on this pistol. I am superbly humble and appreciative that Secutor have been very kind enough to send me this pistol. I'm going to have some fun with this. I've been having fun with it already. It is a joy to shoot. You know, I'm going to try it with some different CO2 capsules as well, just in case the ones I've had have been too long in terms of the feedback and the kick on this pistol. But it's been very, very good. I need to find some kind of holster for this thing, and I need to find out what's going on with this RMR mount, because I want to put a red dot sight on there. Of course I do. It's all about the tacticalness, isn't it? The one thing I forgot to mention, which I think I did mention on the top-down camera, was just the way they've cut this light mount. I did try my Surefire X300 on there, and it just was a little bit wobbly because they haven't cut it flat. They've cut it a beveled thing, which you'll have seen in the video at the top-down camera anyway. Thanks for tuning in to this review. I hope you've enjoyed this pistol. As you can tell, I'm over the moon with it. It looks absolutely fantastic, and I've been thinking about Hi-Capas for a long time. There's a couple of times, there's been many times I've been milling about the warehouse and I've almost gone and picked up an Armour Works Hi-Capa, and yes, I'm in a very good position where I can get something like this sent to me very kindly from the guys at Secutor, and I keep mentioning them, but I am really impressed with how they've dealt with that request and how they spoke to me and how they wanted to work with us. So I hope you liked this review. I hope I've come across as unbiased as I always try to. This new James POS score, which we're going to call it, is just a bit of fun, guys. It doesn't mean the pistol is good or bad in anyone's opinion. This is just something for me and you to the camera. But we're going to kick it off. Secutor Ludus, 76 out of 100. Absolutely superb score. I mean, if we get these little bits and pieces worked out, if we can find out what the RMR mount fits and we can get some screws in there and get a red dot mounted, I'll probably bump that score up. I will update it in the future if I feel I need to. However, this has been the Secutor Ludus pistol. Thank you very much for watching, and in the next video stay tuned, because we're going to be looking at the Umarex Glock 19X, which has been something I've been wanting to get my hands on for such a long time, but I wasn't able to swindle a review copy out of any distributors or Umarex, so I've had to buy that one myself. So we'll see you in the next video. Hope you enjoyed this, and have a good evening. Thank you.
Nails done. I like the girls with their nails done. Girls with their